What is up, dudes and dudettes? It's the Sound Alchemist, and as always, I'm back to bring you 40 facts on the Warhammer 40k universe. Today we are going into the Chapter 2 of my Celestial Sun lore, called Death and Decay. Now this is a pretty interesting beginning, because from here on, it just gets crazier and crazier. So without further ado, let's dive into this lore. The Celestial Suns had been liberating planets and bringing them into the light of the Imperium for quite some time now. Elric had grown fond of his top 3 Marines, Lord Commander Oros, Vicus Rowan, and Dante Hueco, who had always given him great victories. Now they received orders directly from the Emperor himself. The Celestial Suns were on their way to liberate the Forge world of Eldia and its moon from an unknown enemy. Now Eldia was an important forge world, for it produced many dreadnoughts. This world had to be saved. Elric sent Vox messages to his men to ready themselves for a battle, since the forge world had gone dark for quite some time. Elric ordered Sol Oros to take a squad of Terminators and a dreadnought into the moon, while Hueco and his men would go scout the massive hive city on Eldia for survivors. Elric and Rowan would go directly to the forge. Sol Oros took command of a storm raven, and once he landed on the small moon, he felt uneasy. There was no sign of life on the surface, and so the dreadnought fired his dual plasma cannons directly into a fissure. Moments later, the ground shook as a burrowing beast emerged from within. The dreadnought quickly responded by firing his missiles at these foul-smelling creatures, blowing them up to a pile of steaming goo. Oros ordered the Storm Raven pilot to be on standby. Oros and the dreadnought descended deep into the tunnel where the creatures came from. The deeper they went, the more putrid the stench was, until finally they came across a horde of decomposing humanoid creatures, with a big bloated one in the middle of this. Oros messaged his Primarch about his findings, and then he ordered his Terminators to teleport to his position. The 10-man Terminator squad fired into the creatures, unleashing their bolter shells, which, to their surprise, didn't have much effect. Yes, the bodies of these creatures were being blown apart, however they still kept coming. Oros then ordered the dreadnought to fire his plasma cannons. This seemed to work since they were being vaporized by the superheated plasma. Unfortunately for the team, this dreadnought had the only plasma weaponry on them, but perhaps power weapons would also be effective. The Terminators activated their power fists and charged in. The lumbering creatures were no match, but the ichor and blood stuck to the Terminators almost like glue. To their surprise, their armor was melting. Large tentacles broke through the ground and wrapped up 3 of these Terminators, crushing them to death. They quickly retracted, taking along the dead bodies, before re-emerging in front of the bloated demon, which opened its massive maw, unleashing a swarm of flies. Within seconds, the Terminators were reanimated, joining the ranks of the demons. Oros was now weaponless. The vast amount of blood and ichor melted his dual power swords. He only had 5 Terminators left, 2 of which had been reduced to puddles of liquefied goop. With no other choice, he ordered a retreat. The greater demon launched his tentacles towards Oros, however the ancient dreadnought jumped in the way. Plague Bearers then dug their cleavers into the power cores of his dual plasma cannons, and in a flash of blue light, the dreadnought was lost in an epic explosion. The Lord Commander was blown away, as were the demons. However, another Terminator was unfortunately lost due to this plasma core explosion. 2 Terminators helped Oros to his feet, as they quickly tried to put more distance between themselves and the greater demon. The remaining 2 Terminators were then locked in combat against their resurrected brothers, who were shrugging away mortal wounds like nothing. Oros messaged the Storm Raven to descend into this fissure for immediate extraction. Only Oros and 2 of his Terminators made it to the Storm Raven, but the flyer was grabbed by the tentacles of the demon. Heavy bolters rained a hail of firepower upon this demon, but this was not enough for it to unleash its grasp. Oros grabbed a thunderhammer from within the Storm Raven and dropped upon the demon. The first blow blew apart a massive chunk out of the demon's torso. The second rips its tentacles off, freeing the Storm Raven. The demon now lays upon the ground defeated, but just as Oros lifts his war hammer for the final blow, the plague beast vomits a toxic stream directly at Oros. His armor begins to melt immediately. Screaming in agony, Oros removes his helm. The bottom right half of his face, now terribly burned to the point of having his bones show through. Oros then channels his pain into anger, and his eyes begin to glow a bright white. His body was then engulfed in flames, so hot they vaporized the acidic vomit from his armor. He picks up his hammer, which it too becomes engulfed by this ethereal flame. "By the will of the Emperor, I command thee to die." He smashes the demon's face in, and its body disintegrates into ash. Lord Commander Sol Oros looks to his surviving Marines and states, "Onwards to Eldia. Our Primarch needs us." And this is the end of the first part to Death and Decay. Now the remaining parts will take place on the planet of Eldia. Now Eldia is a frozen world with a forge world that gets a bunch of manpower from the massive hive city, which is practically on the other side of the world. Now between this hive city and the forge of Eldia, there's basically a vast barren land of ice and mountains, so it's a pretty rough place. Usually the Skitari from the forge are sent over to get recruits, and then they become Skitari, and thus they work on the forge world, etc. But like I said, for a time now, it has gone dark. There hasn't been any shipments of dreadnoughts. There's been basically no communication with them. So now it's up to Dante Hueco to investigate this hive world, or hive city that is, and the Primarch and Rowan are going to go into the forge to see what exactly is going on. So now that we know that there are plague demons on the moon, we kind of have an idea of what to expect on this world of Eldia. Now this is the first draft to this part, so if you guys wish me to further improve, let me know what you guys want added. It took me a while to kind of figure out how I wanted this battle between Oros, since this was his first time that he manifested psychic powers. So now we know that Elric is a psyker, Oros is a psyker, and then we'll see what happens down on the planet below. Craziness is going to go on. Now, I want to say there's maybe 1 or 2 more parts to the second chapter of the Celestial Suns, so we'll get to that hopefully next week. I'm about halfway done through part 2 of this, so that's the Hive City part, and then I'm going to be talking about the Forge part, which the Forge part is going to be crazy. Just a little spoiler warning. Nah, I'm not even going to put that in there. I'll let you guys experience that. So again, let me know how I can improve this lore. If you guys thought it was good, if you guys thought it was bad, let me know in the comments below. I will link my first part to the Celestial Suns, the Ascending Sun, where you guys get to know the origins of my Primarch, and a little bit afterwards that he starts taking command of the Celestial Suns. So again guys, that's all going to be linked at the end of the video. Just click on it and it'll send you right to our playlist. Now before I forget, I do gotta give out a big shout out to BlazBaros on DeviantArt. He's the guy behind the images that you guys have seen of my Celestial Suns. He's a great commission artist. If you guys want to see him, I will leave a description to his DeviantArt page down below. Really awesome work. He does amazing things on his channel, so go check him out. Or on his page over on DeviantArt. And that's all I got for you guys. As always, we do have a Twitter, an Instagram, and a Facebook page. Facebook is the easiest way to get in touch with us. I check it every day. We post updates each and every day on Facebook, so that is a great place to go for more One Mind Syndicate content. Also, if you guys want to support us, head on over to our Patreon page. Patreon is where we put out creepypastas. We do some For the Greater Walls that are Patreon exclusive, where we answer each question from our Patreons on there. And Halloween's coming, so there will be more creepypastas to come. Also guys, it's only $1 a month, so if you can't do that, that's alright. Just like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to put out part 2 to Death and Decay next week, so stay subscribed for that. As always, guys, I am the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.